These days, watering her garden is a luxury for Kathy Cameron. She says her water bill has become so expensive that she's been forced to cut back big time, but it's not making much difference.
Our water bill has gone up exponentially in spite of us trying to make even more restrictions on it.
Last summer, for example, the Cameron's water bill was over $800 for the 3-month period. So this year, they're only watering once a week and are taking quicker showers. But they're left with many questions.
It makes me mad. We're not wasteful. And yet, I have to wonder, where is all this money going and why is it costing so much?
We pay 3 times what Kelowna pays for their water, twice what Penticton pays. I don't understand it.
And they're not alone. Many residents and businesses are frustrated. Vernon's mayor admits something needs to change, but says the issue is complicated.
We're trying to find the best possible way to look at the sources we have, which are Dudo Creek, Cal, and Okanagan Lake, and decide which would be best cost effective.
As for the high costs, he says it's partly related to the fact that Vernon is so behind in its filtration infrastructure.
We had to obviously catch up, and that's why the cost of water has gone up probably about 150% over the last 10 years.
In some cases, much more. A few local golf courses say they may be forced to shut down because they can't afford to water their greens. A group of local residents have formed to push for change. Their main concern is that many residents' water comes from Duto Creek, which is also used for agricultural use.
The direction that the plan is taking is to provide filtration for the Duto Creek water supply. We feel that the Duto Creek system should be returned to agricultural instead of treating it for potability purposes.
They believe potable water should come from Kalamalka Lake and Okanagan Lake.
Okanagan Lake and Kalamalka Lake are a better quality source for the water to begin with, which makes them cheaper to treat for domestic drinking water purposes, and that's why they're better than the Duto source.
Cal Lake is already used as a source for some Vernon residents. The regional district says both sources are good quality, but still need many improvements.
Both our sources still have issues. So before the treatment plant came on, Duto was considered a high risk. It was a very vulnerable source of water. Now that the treatment plant's on, it has lowered the risk of that water considerably.
Interior Health requires that full filtration be added to Duto Creek if it is to remain a potable water source. But these upgrades would cost $70 million, and that was shot down by residents in a referendum last year. As for separating Duto Creek's potable and agricultural system, that would cost big money too.
It's a complicated thing, but who pays for it? It becomes the big question. Does the generation of today pay for it, or does the generation in the future pay for it?
What we want is for an independent consulting company to look at that option and to come up with estimated costs to do that separation.
The mayor says the Greater Vernon Advisory Committee is open to all suggestions.
Let's get some public engagement, see what they have to say, and maybe some of their ideas are going to work, and we'll collectively make a decision what's best for Greater Vernon.